is the Getting Started with Miro webinar. My name is Matt Mulholland. I'm Customer Education Manager here at Miro, and I'm really happy to be able to show you guys around the tool. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Miro, obviously, but we're going to be going through the basics of the tool, but we're also going to be covering how do people use it? That's a big question that we get. How are other customers using it? We're going to be talking about how to create content, how to keep your boards organized. We're also going to be talking about the collaboration features. How do you share? What does it look like when you're on the same board with somebody else? Talk a little bit about navigation. I added that last minute, so it looks like I didn't update my agenda. And then we're going to be talking about some integrations and then where you can learn more. So to get started, what is Miro? I know we know that some of you will already have played around with our free plan, but probably there's some participants that don't really know what the tool is yet. So just give me a few seconds while we explore it. Miro is an online collaborative whiteboarding platform. So it's online. You can do it with many different people at the same time. It's whiteboarding, which means it's free form, and it's a platform because we're always adding new tools, and it's actually possible for the community to add tools as well. You can see that we have an infinite canvas. There's no borders to our canvas. It continually expands as you add content. And it's free form. So you can add content in any which way that you like, which makes the tool very, very flexible, unlike some other more systems-oriented tools that you might be used to. And we'll be exploring in many different ways that you can use the product in the next few seconds here. So we have 5 different main categories of use cases that are popular for our product. There are many different other ways that people use it, from planning weddings to very serious work tasks, but here are the 5 main ones that we see. So ideation and brainstorming, things like rapid ideation, mind mapping, using our mind map tool right there, brain writing, remote meetings. I'll switch back to presentation mode as we're going through these frames. For research and design, there's a lot of user experience designers that are using our product every day for design sprints, remote design sprints now, low fidelity wireframes, user personas, trying to understand your customers better. It's also common to do some lo-fi wireframes in Miro and then move on and do the high fidelity ones in Sketch and then come back into Miro for the collaborative aspect to get feedback from engineers and things like that. For Agile Workflows, if you're in a team that's using Scrum or Kanban, you can do retrospectives in Miro from your remote team or your co-located team to just keep track of your retrospectives, user story mapping, sprint planning, backlog refinement, PI planning as well if you're doing scaled Agile. Over here, this is our Kanban tool over here. So we have a specific tool that's inside the board for keeping track of your tasks, things like that. Go back into presentation mode. Strategy and planning is our next category of use case. You can effectively break down problems, strategy maps, flowcharts, Gants, company all hands. You can do things like SWOT analysis, root cause analysis, like the fishbone diagram or the 5 whys is also a really cool way you can use Miro. Mapping and diagramming, I think that's the last one. Things using, again, the mind mapping tool, doing things like customer journey mapping, trying to understand what is the flow, what are the different touch points that we have with our customers and understanding the full journey, service blueprints. This is a customer journey map example down here that you might use, and so forth. So those are just to give you guys some context as I show you things like the sticky note. You're going to think to yourself, well, how can I use this? Those are some examples of real world cases that people are using Miro for on a daily basis already. So let's get started. What does it actually do? So we're going to be going back to basics for a little bit. Over on the left-hand side of your canvas, you can add many different types of content. And this is the content creation toolbar made just for that. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and click on the sticky note tool, and I'm going to go and grab the classic yellow sticky note and add some text. We can add another one by going again to the sticky note tool and adding some more text. For those of you who are already familiar with the tool, here's a little hotkey for you just press N on your keyboard to pull up the sticky note tool. Alternatively, if I wanted to add another sticky note, I might use Command D or Control D to duplicate a sticky note. Command Control. What's the abbreviation for control? There it is. All right, so we have some sticky notes here, and this is enough for you to get value out of Miro. We have 20 more minutes of content. Being able to add digital sticky notes to a whiteboard with your colleagues and brainstorm by just adding sticky notes is a ton of value. So we're going to be going through a lot of content, but keep in mind that there's a lot of things you can do by just adding sticky notes of different colors, grouping them, finding trends, and analyzing. Now, there's more than just sticky notes. There's the line object. We can go ahead and grab the line over here and connect these two objects. They'll stay connected like this. We can also add many different types of shapes and customize them the way that we would like to see it. So we've got just the basic black bar. We can fill it in. We can use Command Control D to duplicate it and create some sort of framework. And there's other shapes. Oh, the pen is also good. Works really well on our mobile app, not so good on the trackpad, but you can go ahead and play around with that. Good for low fidelity wireframes once again. All right, so super elementary, back to basics overview of what Miro can do. And always remember, this is in the context of an infinite canvas. So you can do this, have many different types of activities all in the same place. All right, let's continue. Now, one of the backbones of Miro is our template library. And these templates are built off of shapes, text boxes. Oh, I forgot to mention the text box object, but it's pretty self-explanatory what that is. Combining those different objects on the board to create some sort of framework. So here we have a user persona framework where you're going to add who the person is, what are their personalities, tech savviness, and things like this. A service blueprint example over here on the right. And all of these templates are customizable because, again, Miro is just a free-form canvas combining free-form online whiteboard, allowing you to combine shapes in various different ways. So where are the templates? They're in the top left hand of your content creation toolbar over here on the left. If I click on the templates icon, I can select it and it'll open up the pre-built template library. There's many different options for you to choose from. If you're trying to understand what you can do with Miro, the first thing you should do is open up the templates and take some time to explore it. Really, it'll clarify so much of what you can do with the tool and give you ideas on how you can get more value out of the product. This is available for the free plan, everything. So we're going to click on this. Again, you'll see some of those same categories that we saw just a minute ago. So brainstorming and ideation, we have our mind map tool. You can start from here. We have customer journey maps, things like that. There's that persona template again, we can add it. For research and design category, we have things like user story mapping. We have wireframe toolkit here in the product. Fishbone diagram, 5 whys, all useful for a wide variety of different problems. Strategy and planning, flowcharts, product roadmap, really popular use case actually. There's that program increment planning if you're doing scaled agile, monthly planner. Okay, we'll just keep on going here. For agile, we have our Kanban tool. You can also just do a very basic Kanban using shapes and sticky notes. Retrospectives, many different retrospective options. For mapping and diagramming, some of the same, and we'll continue on. So let's go ahead and add one of these templates. So I'm going to go ahead and add this quick retrospective here. I can do a preview or I can just go ahead and add it in. Comes in a little bit bigger than the rest of my content, so I'll just make it a little bit smaller there. And now we're ready to go. The sticky notes act as the thoughts and they go on to these different categories, and we're just going to use this framework. So what was good, what was bad, ideas, actions. This is our retrospective template that comes from the library. Now, it's grouped right now. All of these objects are grouped together, so they act as one. If I just select it, there's a button here called Ungroup. And if I do that, we can see that this template is just made up of text boxes and shapes, text boxes, and and sticky notes, which means that all of this is customizable. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and change my retrospective template by using Command D again to duplicate. And let's say we wanted to change it to some framework, retrospective framework we had seen on the internet that we want to use. That color does not look good, guys. This is not the color that you would want to use at the end, but we're going to go with it for right now. And let's say we wanted to add a section like next steps. So we're going to do our retrospective, and then we're going to decide how do we want to improve as a team, and we're going to keep track of it here in this other section by adding one of those sticky notes. All right, so maybe next step 1, whatever. All right, so once again, templates over here on the left. If you're not sure what to do about Miro, check out the template library. If you don't want to use one of the templates that's there, at the very least, use it as a starting point to create whatever framework or system or design that you need, because it'll really just kind of get you started, help you find out what is the right shape for your content, that kind of thing. Now, it's not just about what you can create in Miro, but it's also about what can you pull in. And one of the most essential parts about Miro is that you can really pull in a wide variety of content types. And here we have uploaded from my device. I have a PDF here. I should show you where the tool is. The tool is here, upload. If I click on upload, you can see that we support all of your different cloud storage devices. We support Google Drive, Dropbox, Adobe Creative Cloud Box, and OneDrive. You can also, of course, upload things from your device. And here's our PDF. We can just page through that here. This is a URL. If I just paste a URL in the board, it will give us this little thumbnail and preview. So it looks nice on the board and we can see what the title is. You can play videos right from within the canvas, such as this Getting Started with Miro video available in Miro Academy. And you can also upload files from like Google Drive, from the Microsoft Office suite. From Google Drive, you can actually edit the file right from within Miro, which is a really, really cool feature. So if you wanted to create some sort of output of your brainstorm that's inside a Google Doc, you could put that into the board and edit it right from within there. Now, this gives me an opportunity to give you a little sneak peek on a cool feature that you might not discover for yourself, which is that if you highlight cells and copy them from a spreadsheet, Excel, Google Sheets, whatever, and I paste it into the board. So let's say I have some feedback and I need to add it to the board, or maybe some survey data, and I just paste it onto the canvas. It's actually going to come in as sticky notes. So in this case, we can imagine that it's some sort of retrospective feedback in a spreadsheet for whatever reason, and we can go ahead and add it to our canvas. Lots of different uses for that feature. You can also export the sticky notes back out into a CSV. Cool. Now let's continue on. We're blasting through content here because we've only got 30 minutes. Now, all of this is great. That's great, Matt, but what if we need to share it with other people? Well, of course you can. And we're going to share it with my colleague Casey here. We're going to, oh, I should show you. So the share button is up here in the top right. It works pretty much like you would expect. So I'm going to go casey@miro.com. And we're going to go ahead and send that to her and invite her. We get to tell Miro where her starting place in the board is going to be, and we'll wait for her to join. Miro is an online collaborative platform, and you can see where people are in real time. So we can see where Casey's cursor is. We can see the objects that she's going to go ahead and create. And as she's doing that, you can see she's adding a sticky note here. It's all in real time. You don't have to save or anything like that. One cool feature about collaborating as she does that is if, like, let's say if I'm in some other part of the board and we're in video chat and she says, hey, come look at this. I don't have to search for her. I just have to click on her avatar at the top right, and it's going to take me to her current location. Nice little tip for you. And she has a comment there. She says, this is webinar being recorded. Let's see if she goes ahead and answers her own question. Boom, she puts down a comment. Let's open up the thread. Oh, yes, it will be. So no one asked that question anymore. No, just kidding. Yes, the session will be recorded. So let's thank Casey for showing us the collaborative aspect of Miro. And it's not just about a couple of people. You can have over 100 people in the board with edit rights at the same time. That's crazy. It's a crazy claim. It's hard to believe, but it's actually true. And if you have people with just comment or view rights, you can have even more. Some other features about live collaboration. So you can edit the board together live, of course, as we just saw. You can see people's cursors as they're pointing out different objects, as they're manipulating the board. We also have a timer, cool for brainstorms, cool for retrospectives, cool for meetings, did I say brainstorms? Workshops. We also have built-in video chat, voting. You can vote on sticky notes, screen share, and presentation mode, and we'll go through the rest of this in a second. All right, so you might have noticed that I mentioned a lot of collaborative aspects about this bottom left-hand toolbar, and that's really what it is. If you want to find something that's not about adding content, but it's about talking with other people, about talking with other people or figuring out what to do, you can go ahead and find that in the bottom left-hand toolbar. All right. Now, I'm going a little out of order, but I just remembered that I didn't show you where the comment tool is, because she added a comment, but how do we add comments? Well, you're going to go over to your left-hand toolbar, click on the comment tool here, and we could go ahead and drop it on the sticky note. All right. One of the cool things about the comments is that they stay attached to whatever object you added them to. So if you're making a comment about some idea on a sticky note that's saying like, oh, well, how would you, they added some idea and you have an objection. Like, well, what about this? Like, that doesn't make sense. And so that way, as you move the sticky note through the board, that comment will stay contextualized on the sticky note. Cool. All right, so you saw in the beginning that I said, let me go back into presentation mode. I said that a couple of times, I think. So what is presentation mode and how does that work? Well, it relates back to something called frames. And if you look on the board, you can see that it's separated into these slide-like objects. This kind of makes it look like Miro's maybe just a slide presentation tool, but it's not, because these frames just look like slides. If I go over here, this frame tool, I can actually create a frame of any size at all. And this helps me organize my content. I can have many different types of information here. Like I could have several templates stacked on top of each other or anything. And what's cool about the frames is that the content will actually stay inside that frame as we move it along in the board. It also indexes the content. So if I go here back to this slide, if I pull up on the bottom left-hand corner, there's the frame list. I can open that up. Again, it's the bottom left-hand corner. And you can see all of my frames in the board. And I can order them. So I can reorder it like this. And that's how we present directly from Miro. So in the same place that you're doing your brainstorm, in the same place you're breaking down a problem, it's the same place that you're pulling all of different kinds of assets together, you can also present your findings in the same place that you're doing the work, which is a really unique value proposition of our product. So if I want to, I can go ahead and go back to presentation mode with this button down here. And I can use the arrow keys to move throughout the board. We're getting a little spoilers. We're seeing the next slides. Okay, I'm just using the arrow keys, but you can also use the control button down here. All right, there's another benefit of frames is that it makes it really easy to export your content. If I click up at the top corner on the export button, you'll see that you can export the board as a PDF. This will do this by making each frame in the board a page in the PDF. So you can have exports of your slides. You can create document-like things. You can even export it as high as the best quality is actually a vector file. So even if the objects are really small, you can still zoom in. It's really, really a nice export feature. Okay, so those are the different ways that you can collaborate with your colleagues. You can do it in real time. You can have workshop style features, and you can export the board, present the board so that people are able to see the things that you co-created. All right, let's see if did I forget anything about that stuff? You know what? I think I didn't go into sharing very much. Let me again go click on the share button and just clarify some options here. In the free plan, which I think many of you are on, you can't have the option to specifically tell people what level of access they can have. So you see here, I'm on the enterprise plan, and I can actually determine what level of option what level of access they can have to my board, as I shared it with Casey. That's starting available with our paid plans. So starting from the team plan, business, and enterprise, you can start to say, like, I want this person to only comment on my board, and things like that. You can also do a public link. That's available with the free plan. So if you want to create a board and put it on your website or share it with your community, you can do that. And starting with the team plan, you have the option to toggle it on and off, this shared with anyone at the team switch. By default, with the free plan, all of your boards are shared with everyone. So once you upgrade to the team plan, you can then have private boards that you kind of dictate who can see it, who cannot. All right, cool. We've got 6 minutes left. I think we're right on track. Integrations. We have a lot of integrations, and I wish I had the opportunity to show them all to you because they really do work Miro into your existing workflows. But I created a short list here, and I think there might be some that I've forgotten. But we have integrations with Slack, MS Teams, Jira, Confluence, Trello, Azure Cards, or Azure, Microsoft Azure, CA Rally, Sketch, Zapier. We also have the custom API. If you're like some enterprise, you have your own internal chat and you want to integrate Miro, you can do that, for example. One that I forgot is Asana. We also have Asana integration as well. And I don't have the time to dig into that with you guys. I don't really know how many of you it's relevant for, but just to let you know that they're available and encourage you to go and check those things out after the webinar. And here is a screenshot of our Confluence integration, and you can see that you can have a board embedded into your documentation, which is a really cool feature. Really, really nice. All right, 5 more minutes. I think we're okay. Let me just say a few more words about our integrations. One about the Slack and MS Teams. Those integrations are really great for integrating the communication flow of your company, right? So if you post a comment on one of your boards inside and you mention someone, right? So of course we have mentions. If I pull up the comment tool and I were to say, hey, at Casey, once again, and I would say something, some sort of keyboard smash, she actually gets a ping in Slack, right? And with MS Teams as well, you can actually, they have tabs on the channels. If you're a user, you can actually have your Miro boards embedded on those channels. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Before we wrap up, our last topic is navigation. So a few things about navigation. If you're using the trackpad on your laptop, as I am, you're just going to use your 2 fingers. You're probably familiar with it, able to figure it out. You're going to do pinching in order to zoom in and out. The mouse navigation mode can be a little trickier for some people. So we're going to take some time to go into it. The first thing you should know about navigation is that there different modes exist. So in order to switch, if Miro should detect the correct mode for you, but if it does not, click on the top button here, which is the board settings, and we can determine the navigation mode. I'm going to switch it over to mouse so I can show you how it works. If I click apply, with mouse, you're going to drag yourself through the board. And if you click on an empty space in the board, you'll see that it switches to this hand tool where it's like grabbing it and you're pulling your through. But if I click over an object, it moves the object. And that's not what we want. We want it to move in this direction. So what are we going to do? We're going to actually switch to the hand tool in my left toolbar. Do you see over here? You see how it has this icon selected blue? If I deselect it, it's going to switch me into some sort of view only mode. And this is called the hand tool. And that allows me to move around the board without moving the content. Now, if there's one hotkey that you remember from this webinar, it's going to be the space bar. All right, space bar. Everybody say it, space bar. It's going to allow you to switch to the hand tool without clicking on that button, because that button is really far away. I don't want to move my mouse all the way over there. I just want to click on the space bar. It's going to move me to the hand tool. And when I release the space bar, it's going to bring me back to my selector tool, and I can move objects again. All right. So I can move something, move myself, move the thing back, and move myself again. Really easy by using the space bar. All right, I'm going to switch back to the navigation mode and switch back to trackpad and move on. Cool. By the way, we mentioned quite a few shortcuts today. In the same place that you switch navigation mode, you can check out the shortcuts. Okay, top right corner. All right, so that is the end of our scheduled content. We're going to start transitioning into Q&A. I hope that was a good general overview for you guys of the product. There's lots of resources for you to get more information. We have our Help Center. You can find that by just searching like Help Center at Miro.com. You can also find it through the, oh, that's the wrong one. The graduation cap up at the top right. This is an in-app guide. It's available on almost every page inside Miro. We have Miro Academy. This is what I'm working on right now with a bunch of video tutorials and full courses in order to give you a holistic understanding of how you can apply Miro to specific jobs. We have courses on Agile Workflows, user experience design, workshops, a getting started with Miro course, and for an enterprise, the administrative aspect of Miro as well. So check out Miro Academy, miro.com/academy. And recently launched, we have our online community. Check it out, go sign up, and be sure to check out our in-app guide as well. All right. Cool, so go ahead and review these key takeaways. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it and had the privilege of talking with you guys. If you have more questions, again, Help Center, in-app guide, Miro Academy, community, blog. Check those things out, okay? Thank you so much, guys. Really have a great day.